Alright, good day to you people of Glens Falls. I am Edwin Hannaford Jr., but you can call me Poodles. I was born in Barnsley, England as a prodigy of a family of circus performers. And you think with a name like Poodles, you think I was a dog act, but that's not so, my friends. You see, I was a part of the Lord John Sanger Circus with my family, and as I was 3 days old, my Aunt Kate came and visited me at the circus wagon in which I was born, and she said, "He looks like a big happy poodle. I think I'll call him Poodles." And from then on, the name stuck. You see, we retired to this area to keep a low profile and enjoy our privacy, but I've been asked to share my story, so I'll do that with you now. You see, I made my circus debut at the age of 5. I was riding bareback with my parents in the Lord John Sanger Circus. They were superb riders, but I was always a bit of a clown, though I was a serious rider. I didn't get my debut until I was 19 into my family circus. I did this one routine where it boosted me into the limelight. I did a flawless routine where I would do somersaults, handsprings, and I even balanced on a table on the back of a horse's back. I made it look so easy, the crowd was left cold. And I was so furious with their tepid response that I stormed off, I threw off my riding habit, and I made a makeshift costume out of a burlap sack that I found. And the next show, I burlesqued the whole act. And you see, since then, Poodles the Clown was born. The crowd was so frightened when I was just up on the horse and I made it seem like I was going to fall off, and the next moment I would have them laughing as I would save myself and do some little quirk that they would enjoy. We the Hannafords then created a unique riding act that combined my comedy with my brother's serious riding, with my sister's beauty, and my mother's ringmaster authoritarian role. We worked the circus routes in Ireland for England for a few years, and in 1915, John Ringling of the Ringling Bros brought us to the States to perform in his circus. At that time, we were the most sought-after act in the world. The first performance of the act was in the Madison Square Gardens, and we stopped the show. The Hannafords became headliners, which are kind of like your modern-day rock stars. We had our very own private rail car, and we even performed with Tom Mix and his horse, Tony, though they had 8 rail cars. I received a lot of recognition. I was named the world's greatest riding clown. I was the first to do a back somersault off of one horse onto another following behind. And I created the move called the step off, shown here, where you would get up on the horse and you would step off straight-legged. And it was very dangerous, and most people would do it to the back, and I was the only one fool enough to do it from the side. I was also named into the Comedy Hall of Fame. I was the only comedy writer to do so, and as it says here, I made it into the Circus Hall of Fame on the year of my death in 1967. And I also made it into the Guinness Book of World Records, because I ran and jumped onto a horse, performed a step off, and jumped back onto another horse, and I did that 26 times in a row. Though I think my personal greatest achievement was falling in love with Gracie Norma White. She was a lovely trained dancer who came to the circus about the same time that I did, and she not only danced, but she did a roller skating act, and she did a bicycle act as well. From then on we hit it off, and I asked her to marry, but she didn't want to be a war widow as I was going into World War I, and so she married me when I came back in 1919. We had a daughter, Gracie, who was beautiful and a wonderful trick rider. I taught her myself, and she was the apple of our eyes. I became a U.S. citizen at 28 in honor of my daughter and my wife, and that's the age I will forever remain in my heart. After the war, I had a brief stint in the movies. I started with 40-odd silent films in 1922, and 8 talkies off and on until 1951. I even appeared with Shirley Temple in Our Little Girl, as where she ran off to join the circus, and I helped her out with that. And 1945, I starred in a film called Northwest Trail with my daughter Gracie and I, and in that we played homesteaders, who, there were a couple of bandits at the bar, just roughhousing in town, causing a ruckus. We went into the bar and we were supposed to distract them as the police went around and tried to figure out how to get these bandits together. And as part of my distraction, using my whip act, I took a whip, cracked it behind the bar, grabbed a bottle from behind the bar, got it, and caught it in my hands. And you bet that caught their attention. You see, I would do the whip act with my family. I forgot to mention my whip act. I was my second act that I used to do. I would use a kangaroo whip, and I would pick up small objects held in a hand by a partner. And it was very dangerous, so you're sure it got the crowd going. In 1926, I had gone back to the family business, and we did films and TV on the side. I even performed at the Hippodrome in New York City with Jimmy Durante for a few years. Our most famous guest was the Prince of Wales himself, who came and he came to specifically view us. And at the end of the performance, he stood up on his chair and demanded an encore. It was that good. There were ups and downs for our family after I came back into the business, and it was an arduous time for everyone, but it somehow strengthened us all, and we all performed until 1954. We retired here in Glens Falls when I was 63. We lived on Ridge Road and bought a place at Kattskill Bay. It was a nice little frame house with a small meadow where we would work our horses and our dogs. And in 1956, we were asked to work at Frontier Town up in the Adirondacks. Yes. I played the old part of Panhandle Pete. I was an old prospector, and Grace worked the store. She would dye Frontier fabrics and work in the store. And my daughter Gracie, she would do a horse acts with which I would help out from time to time. I worked until my death in 1967. Grace followed me in 1984 and is buried right here next to me, right next to me. And my daughter Gracie remained in the Glens Falls area until she died in 2006 here. We had a good, full, exciting life, and even though we had a rock star period of sorts, we enjoyed our retirement here and our quiet time here in Glens Falls. You folks granted us the privacy we wanted and treated us with great respect in our last couple of years, and we couldn't have asked for more. I thank you so much.